I've expected a lot from Nioh and its combat, and oh boy, Team Ninja did deliver. In fact, they did over-deliver. If you watch my videos on regular basis, well, then you're a cool human being. If you don't, then you definitely should. Anyways, a few weeks ago during the Last Chance trial, I've managed to try every weapon for a couple of hours, and I've used Spear enough to call it boring. Yes, that's right, I did call Spears boring. I said, just like in real life, insanely efficient, but boring. Well, today I take that back. I was absolutely wrong, because spears are insanely fun. In this video I go over my spear setup and break the spear play down, so that you guys can get a better idea on how proper spear play can carry you through the game. Since the combat in Nioh has more depth than whole 3 Dark Souls games, we need to start with analyzing my personal skill setup, as in the skills that I have selected to be used for each stance. But before we get into that, just because I did mention Dark Souls, let me show you how incredible the spear combat is in Nioh. By now, all of you should know that Nioh does feature 3 stances: high, mid, and low. So let's start with the lower one. Heavy attack is Science Halberd. Light attack is Sentier's Spear. Isn't it fucking awesome? But wait, there's more. Medium stance is a vanilla spear moveset, with heavy attack being Tip Pok and light attack being Wide Angle Slash. When it comes to high stance, it has Halberd moveset, with light attack being classic Dark Souls Halberd Slam, with heavy attack being Jumping Attack Poke. Now compare this to your average Dark Souls spear play. In Nioh, you get access to so many different moves, just based on the stance difference, and we're not even talking about skills yet. This makes Dark Souls feel like a joke. Time to talk about skills now. This is the skill setup I prefer to use. Key to success in Nioh is ability to deplete ki. Breaking ki against human opponents renders them staggered and vulnerable for grapple. Breaking ki against yokai doesn't necessarily stagger them, but breaks their poise, allowing you to combo them up. Same goes for bosses, more or less. And breaking ki is exactly why I have pole kick equipped for my lower stance setup. Pole kick is your best tool for breaking ki, and whenever I get that sweet ki break, I can instantly follow it up with quick light attack Mamba Jumba Sentier Spear stuff. As for the combo finisher, Flying Monkey is the best skill ever. It allows you to literally leap in the air and follow it up with a drop attack. Since you have to land a hit in order to start a combo, it is not possible to continue the combo if your opponent is blocking. Because of that, whenever I see enemies block my attacks, I try to whiff first attack in order to start the combo. Then I can follow it up with pole kick, or get myself in the air to perform plunging attack because it is extremely efficient. In general, lower stance is excellent for controlling multiple enemies with fast slashes and Flying Monkey. But since I've added pole kick to the equation, my lower stance is good enough to make a use of it in 1v1 situations, since I can reliably break ki with it. Another good skill to have for hit and run play is backslash. It is very similar to Dark Souls Rapier Kick. So much fucking versatility. Now the reason I've added pole kick to my lower stance and not the mid stance is so that I can have water wheel. It's a light attack combo that allows me to have damage of mid stance with Sentier Spear like multi-hit combo. It is a really good alternative to low stance light attack that can be used once you stagger an enemy. But the best part about mid stance is obviously heavy attack poke. You can kite enemies and dominate the game with just that one move. Poke and back off, poke more and back off, very easy. For the heavy attack while guarding, I decided to pick up Body Swap, because it is sort of a shield poke. It allows you to get a drop on an enemy and follow it up with a combo without releasing block. You can also use it to flux a weapon and then get backstab with katana, but that's a good topic for another video. When it comes to high stance, I use it for 2 things: nailing headshots and piercing rain. Do not underestimate how powerful headshots are in Nioh. One good hit to the horn can neutralize yokai for a short period of time, allowing you to sneak up a high damage combo. High stance is incredibly good for nailing those headshots with spear, because heavy attack is a jump poke that can headshot short enemies, and light attack is a halberd slam that, well, slams your opponent a good old downward swing. Convenient, isn't it? The second part of my high stance mix is Piercing Rain. It is my combo of choice for whenever I have a wide opening on the boss. It does a lot of damage, and paired with Flux and Spear stance change, it allows you to do so much damage without wasting any ki. So that's what I've got for skills. Now, how do you use all of it in the action? Well, when you're dealing with human enemies, I'd suggest you to try to bait a hit and sneak in pole kick. Breaking ki and performing grapple is the fastest way to finish human enemies in Nioh. If you can't start the pole kick because your enemy's blocking, try whiffing your first attack. Or get into the mid stance and spam heavy attack poke while keeping yourself at safe distance. Grapple and ki breaking aside, Flying Monkey is really good for navigating through the crowd and avoiding attacks from human-sized enemies. When you're facing yokai, you can't rely on pole kick because yokai will just poise through it. I suggest you to use mid stance heavy attack poke until you break their ki, and then follow it up with either Piercing Rain or Water Wheel. Both are extremely good. You can also try to nail a headshot with high stance light attack if you're facing smaller sized yokai. It is quite tricky when it comes to bosses because it depends on what kind of boss you're dealing with. For bosses that have weak points, it might be better to use high stance and get overhead slam hits in. For human-sized bosses, kiting with mid-stance heavy attack is the best way to break their ki, so that you can follow up with a combo. You can obviously try to style bosses with Flying Monkey. It works, but not always. If you're dealing with a boss that can't break your guard, allowing you to block most of its attacks, then you should try using Body Swap and Backslash combined with mid-stance heavy attack, as it is a reliable way to get the safe damage in. So that's about it. That's the way I see spear play in Nioh. I hope I've inspired you to experiment with stances. Let me know what kind of spear play you prefer and what moves are your favorites. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.